Good morning, everyone. Say hi to Luke. There's Luke. Can you see him? Say hi to Luke. Say good morning, Luke. He's gonna look out the window. He's not supposed to be on the couch. Good morning, everyone. So it is about 10 minutes to 6 a.m. I'm gonna just drop you down a little bit here. 6 a.m. It's Friday. It's the day that we call Friday. In the month that we call November. On the date that we call the 14th. In the year that we call 2025. I will mess with the camera as needed once we start pulling some cards, right? I hope everyone's having a beautiful morning. Happy Friday, everyone. All right, let me get a sip of my coffee. Don't follow any links in the comment section of the channel. Haven't really been able to use Rumble for months and months. I guess that's a dead channel. So yeah, don't follow any links or emails in the comment section of the channel. Those would be scammers soliciting you for things. So don't do it. Don't fall victim to scams. Obviously, the healing intentions are always set for you folks. So if you so choose, go ahead, stand in your power. Decree that for your highest and greatest good, only and always. Breathe it in. Let it integrate the body. All right. So yesterday's reading was interesting, huh? Kind of fun. Something a little bit more lighthearted than all the other crap that we're dealing with in the world, right? So I know a lot of people are nervous about this digital ID and things like that. Things are happening in other countries with that digital ID. And I think I've said this before, you know, we've all been black-pilled. If you've been awake for a long time, you're pretty black-pilled, right? But the times, they are a-changing. And if we step out of fear, as we're told many times not to walk with, and we look at things from a place of logic, we might see that as the times are changing technology-wise, we have to kind of change technology-wise with it. So, as I observe a new scam coming into my text every day, trying to get me to follow a link because I'm supposedly in trouble because I ran through, you know, what was the latest one? Something about me running through and not paying a toll. One before that was about the DMV, something that I was supposed to have done for the DMV and didn't, and I was going to be in trouble. And I mean, they just think of all these new and inventive ways of scamming people. They send out emails pretending to be this or that, and if you're not paying attention and you click their links or answer their emails, they've got you. And they hack you, and the next thing you know, you know they've cleaned out your bank account or whatever. Just last week, was it last week or the week before? I can't remember. My brain's been foggy, but you know, I got my security protection notifications that, you know, someone was trying to hit my bank account. I mean, this shit is constant. It's constant. And we have to have safeguards. We do. And so, you know, letting go of some of these ideologies that the bad guys are going to control us we got to step back and we really got to analyze these things, you guys, from a place of logic and not from fear. Because we're not going to go backwards, right? Unless they do another reset and they send us all back into the 1800s again, which I don't believe is going to happen. In order to live in this digital world where they are scamming people left and right. Here's a for instance. They can call your phone on a number that's familiar to you. So in other words, I could get a call from, it says my bank. It's my bank's number. It will come up as my bank's number. And it's not them. It's not my bank. It's a guy on the phone working for a big scamming, let's call them a corporation. I mean, because literally they rent out floors and have tons of people working for them, just working to scam people. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, watch The Beekeeper. That will show you how it's done. These large-scale scamming, literally businesses. And that number will say that it's your bank. And you answer that, and they're telling you that X, Y, and Z has happened. And they need you to do A, B, and C. And if you do that, the next thing you know, they're into your account and they've taken everything. It's pretty bad. And so it's so bad, in fact, that when the fraud department calls me, I don't talk to the fraud department. I will not answer. And then I call my fraud department myself, because that could be somebody who has the technology to tap in and make it look as though they're calling from my fraud department. I mean, it's really bad, you guys. So we have to, if we're going to live in this digital world, we have to have safeguards in place. And it would seem to me, just by looking at the things that are happening that are good, and they are, and we can see it, that we have to let go of a little bit of fear, and we have to start moving with a little more logic, thinking of how things are actually being done in this world, and what are we going to do for safeguards around it. So, I think the Philippines has just implemented the digital ID. The UK has. I don't know. The times, they are changing, you guys. So we either move with it or we move against it, right? And if we're moving against it, we're swimming against the current. We're just making everything harder for ourselves. But I understand people's resistance, because if you've been awake a long time, like I said, you are pretty black-pilled. I've been awake a long time, pretty black-pilled. But I do have eyes to see, and I do have ears to hear. And I look, and I see, and I watch, and I listen with ears to hear. And, you know, for a long time, it has not looked like the bad guys are going to win. Long before Trump came down that escalator, it was obvious that something had shifted under the Obama administration. And I really pretty much stopped worrying back then, because it was obvious something had changed. So, Let's take a look with one card. Please and thank you. Only the truth is welcome here. We don't want you blowing smoke up our ass just to make us feel better about life here on the earth plane. We just want the plain and simple truth. In the world that we're living in and the changes that we're going through, will the safety nets and the safeguards and these things moving forward, such as digital ID, let me get another sip of my coffee. Be used for humanity's betterment, for the best interest of humanity as a whole. Please and thank you with one card. A lot of people are afraid of the changes that are being made. Are these things that are coming into place being set up and used for humanity's best interest, for their highest and greatest good? Please and thank you. With one card. All right. So we got the 4. The things that are coming into play, the changes that are being made are being done they're being done, they are the work to create a semblance of balance in this world. So with that 4, that is the actual physical doing of things to create something balanced and healthy. This card is all about balance and healthiness and simplistic ways of being. So the new things that are coming down the pike are being worked on. The work behind it is to make things more balanced, safer, more simplistic, a better way for humanity. So that's what I'm getting. It's working to create a more balanced system. You know, I was talking to a businessman, I don't know, I think it was probably in 2019. And he said, every 6 months or less, he goes in to the bank and he changes all of his business cards and his accounts because he had been hacked into so many times. It's not good. Now just think about when you buy something online and, you know, you've purchased, you think you've purchased something nice for a decent amount of money, and what you get shipped is a plastic whistle in the mail or a pair of sunglasses. I mean, I've seen this literally happen. It happened to my boyfriend. He got shipped a whistle. It was a little green plastic whistle. I'm not kidding you. I mean, there's so many ways to scam us. It's not good. Something does have to be done to safety net things. If we're going to be living in this world the way that we are, and, you know, like I said, we're not going to go backward. We're just going to keep moving forward. Now you don't have to dress up in a ski mask and raid a bank. You can do that. You can just hack into the bank and clean out accounts. Something has to happen. Something does. So anyway, that's what I'm getting. It's the work that's going into these new ways of being is actually to create this semblance of balance, to make things a little simpler for people, to make things a little easier in this world, rather than having it be the way that it is. I mean, they find all sorts of ways to fish for you. I mean, like I was talking about the phone calls that come in, and then just think of your social medias with the hacked accounts that are constantly like trying to get you to send them a friend request. They get on your site, they start following you, then they comment on all of your posts, and they're saying, oh, friend, send me a friend request, or someone messages you on Messenger, and you answer that, and the next thing you know, you've been hacked. It's just something has to happen, right? So it looks like there's work being done to safety with this 4. There's the safety of the vines that connect these two, right? And the work that's created balance to simplify things a bit. So that's what I'm getting, you guys. Now, let's talk about all of this talk of people getting chipped. Oh boy. I think it's, I almost think it's just better to not pay attention to this shit. I just don't pay attention to it because I say, oh, I'm not going to get chipped. That's not happening in my world. I don't consent to that. I'm not going to do that. Nope. How about no? But that's me. I'm kind of nonchalant. I don't put my energy into things that I'm not choosing. I put my energy into what I am. So that's just how I roll. I've been through too much in my life to worry about shit that's out of my control, honestly. So let's see. With one card, how do I want to ask this? I mean, people are getting chipped willingly. This has been going on for a while. They like it. They're all excited. Look at what I can do. Whatever. All right. So, whatever, right? I don't know. I don't know. So, with one card, can you tell me, are there going to be mandates and laws and a forcing of people to get a chip inserted in their body from the world governments? Is this going to be a forced thing down the pike that we see coming? Is this going to be something that we have to deal with, that people are being forced to do it? Please and thank you. Like we saw people being... I'm just going to say this about the shots. Yes, there was a mandate. Yes, some people were told that they would lose their job. And they felt forced, right? Their backs were up against a wall and they felt forced. They felt as though they didn't have an option. They did have an option. They didn't have to do it. I know that's hard for some people because they would have lost their jobs. And they were afraid of not getting another one. And they were afraid of losing their homes. And I know that was like the back was pushed up against the wall. But at the end of the day, it still wasn't forced, right? There was still free will. It's just that they were forced into making a choice. So when we ask this question I want to be very clear. So I'm going to ask it like that, because in those positions, I know a lot of people that just couldn't afford to lose their job. They would have lost their home. And so they felt forced to get the jab. And they made the choice to choose the jab to keep the job. So they still had free will. They didn't really have to do it. They would have had to have made a lot of sacrifices. It would have been a financial hardship for them. But they made the choice to do it to avoid the financial hardship, right? So they felt forced, but technically they still had free will. They didn't actually have to. They could have made a stand and said, I'm going to trust the universe to take care of me. I'm not going to do this. My job is not worth my life or my health, and I'm not going to do it. They did still have the ability to have free will. So when I look at these chips, I want to know if it's going to be, will we see a feeling of being forced, just as we saw with the COVID-19 shots and what they call vaccines and jabs? Will we see coming down the pike a period of time where people are feeling as though they're being forced to make a choice that they have got to get this chip inserted into their body? Is that something that we will be seeing in our future? Please and thank you. So I think I've worded that pretty clearly. With one card. There's a lot of talk about this. Apparently, soldiers are saying that they're being forced to get chipped and they didn't really want to. I guess there's stuff out there saying this kind of stuff. So that's why I'm inquiring, will there be a point in time where people feel as if they are being forced to make a choice to have to get these chips inserted in their bodies? Please and thank you. With one card. There's a lot of lies around that, you guys. This is lies to get people upset and scare people. So there is some truth that there's some scamming, that's on my brain, right? There's some truth with that one straight sword going straight through the heart, that chips are out there. So there are chips available for you to put in your body. But all of this stuff around you're going to be forced, or they're having to get them, they feel as though they're being forced to get them. This is a bunch of bullshit that's out there to upset people and scare people. That's what I'm getting. So I'm getting that there's nothing to this. This is just more fear porn and propaganda to freak people out. So with that being said, I would like to see, I'm going to get more coffee before my coconut oil congeals. I would like to have you give me, in a 7-card spread, first we'll pull one card, and then we'll do a 7-card spread. But what I would like to see, please and thank you, is a very truthful and honest picture of where humanity is going. I don't care about what's being said by the left, by the right. I don't care about what's being said by conspiracy theorists. I don't care about what's being said here on this world with all the chatter and clatter and propaganda and fear porn and hopium. I want the universe to actually show me the trajectory that humanity is on in a very clear and concise way. And if that looks like it's going to be a shit show, I want to see it. And if it looks like we're moving into something better, I want to see it. And if it looks like it's always going to be like this, I want to see it. I just want an honest story around the trajectory of where we're going as a species in the near future, that will then span out. Because people are saying shit, and, you know, I think it's just a bunch of crazy talking people that want clicks and likes. They're making money off this shit. And, you know, it's like a popularity contest. They know if they can put fear out there, that gets the brain going. It throws endorphins off. It gets people clicking, liking, scrolling, watching, commenting, sharing. Keeps them coming back for more. It's like a fix. It's like a drug. And it's the same with the hopium, especially when it comes to the financial system. You're going to be rich tomorrow. You're going to be rich tomorrow. And it just keeps people on this loop. And so I just want to push all of that stuff out to the side. And I want a true story about humanity and the trajectory that we're on. Please and thank you. So I'm going to pull one card. You can start a story. You can start us... you can start talking to us with that one card, and from there I'll shuffle again and I'll lay a 7-card spread. Please and thank you. You know, if everybody's always caught up in all of this shit, then they're not enjoying the moment. It's sad. They're not living for the present. They're living either for the future, or they're scared about the future, or they're reaching for something that they don't have. And it keeps us from manifesting our best lives. It keeps us from enjoying the present. It keeps us from really having a full life here, to be honest. So, all right, with one card, please and thank you, start the story as to where humanity is truly going. What is our trajectory? We have beautiful new beginnings. So we've got the Ace of Cups. So where are we truly going? We're going to a place of, this is the Ace of Swords. So remember, swords are driven by air. So that's also technology. So we're going into a time of new technologies. We're going into new beginnings with the Ace. That's something new, starting new. This sword is surrounded in life, greenery. So an abundance of new technology. This sword is right in front of our heart, and it's right all the way up her head and connected to her crown. Her crown is surrounded with abundance. I'm sorry that you can't see this. This is my Deviant Moon deck. And so a great awakening. Humanity is going to a place of higher knowledge, higher perspective, awakening the crown chakra, being more spiritual, connecting to spirit. This sword, this new energy is right at the heart. So the heart is opening up. So your heart will be connecting to your mind. You'll be able to see things differently. We're going into good things, you guys. New beginnings, really good beginnings. That's the trajectory that we're on. So with that, just trying to figure out the angle here. So with that, I'll put that up there by the pumpkin. Let's get a 7-card spread, please and thank you. What you can talk to us a little bit about the trajectory of humanity. So just the truth, you know. We're getting here. Now show us the pathway to that and the story around it, please and thank you, with a 7-card spread. And as soon as I do the 7-card spread, I really am going to get off because I have early morning appointments. And I have to get my shower taken and get my act together here. So I hope everybody's having a beautiful morning. Let's take a look with the 7-card spread. Please and thank you. All right, let me angle the camera, get a sip of my coffee after I've angled you guys a little bit. I'm gonna push these up just a little bit more. So we're going to great places, is what they're saying with the ace, okay? Now let's take a look at our pathway as to how we get there. So sip of my coffee. Remember, the pathway is what drives the energy right here is the overall energy for me, the way I've set up, the way that I read with my team, okay? For me, this is the energy that drives the major pathway. It's also the energy that drives the story. So it's the energy that's creating the change, that's creating the movement, that's creating us going in a particular direction. Does that make sense? So the energy that is creating this pathway is divine love with this 6 of rods, right? So the love vibration, the divine love, a different frequency that's come in that has kind of woken people up. Because see, they've all come with their little dead looking hands and their rods, and there's very little life in their rods, but they've kind of come to, and they've come to this person who has a very loving heart. They've been awake for a while. They have an understanding of things. And so people in the communities are coming to these people that kind of have an understanding, right? And they're looking to them like, what can we do? What can we do? How can we make changes? What's your idea? Can you help us figure out how we're going to change things, right? So the energy that's really changing humanity is humanity because of a vibration, a frequency shift, change upon the earth. A time of great awakening. where people are seeing things differently, connecting their hearts to their minds, opening their eyes, lifting their vibration, opening their crowns, getting in touch with spirituality, getting in touch more with their gifts. So it's a humanity is shifting, and that's what drives everything. We're coming up a notch. We're becoming. And so in the becoming, everything changes, right? Do we want to stay here? I was just talking to one of my dear friends just a couple days ago, and he said, think about it, Lorri. We've been using the automobile, and this form of engine forever. And we know there's other technology out there, but we've remained stuck. Well, we're moving out of a time of being stuck with this ace, and we're shifting gears, and it's because the frequency itself of the earth plane and humanity is shifting. It's because people are waking up. So this is my waking up card. So it's like people have been sleeping for a long time, right? Their crowns are ignited, but they haven't been pulling that information actually into them. They've allowed all of the information that comes via the crown to be thrown into the dirt and ignored. They've stayed very dense, 3D, very dense. But with the energy shift that's driving everything, the frequency changes. Now the frequency is coming up, and it's actually poking people, right? So they've been very 3D here with their swords buried, not really connecting to the heavens, just being very much of the earth, materialistic or whatever. Their crowns have always had the ability to bring in the information, but they've been sleeping on the job. But now with this frequency change, they're getting poked awake. So people they just can't continue to hold this 3D vibration because the overall vibration above us has shifted. And that's poking people into awakening out of the 3D and becoming of a higher frequency themselves. So this is the path that we're on. We're lifting our vibrations. We're becoming more spiritual. We're waking up. We're learning how powerful we actually are here on this earth plane. And what's above us, because this is where we're at right now, with this poking, this waking up. It's happening because of the frequency change. And the more people that are poked and woken up, they come to and they're like, what can we do to make this world better? And that expands outward, right? So the collective consciousness gets more and more aware of making things better rather than being stuck in this 3D. Do you see what I'm saying? And above us, we have the major arcana card, you guys. And that's the magician. And that's mastery. And honestly, mastery means that you realize that you're always going to be learning. The more you know you don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? So mastery and developing tools and skills and becoming the master of your own universe, the master of your own world. Okay, so we have a ways to go between someone being really 3D and sleeping on the job and finally being poked awake to mastering their world, right? There's some learning in between, but that's the trajectory, is that humanity is going to become, and with that one, it's all brand new, we're going to have more tools. Like, we're going to shift. Remember how yesterday when we were looking at the ice wall and Antarctica and the lands beyond, and over there, their frequency is different. They live more heart-centered. They're emotionally intelligent. They're spiritually more advanced than people are here, than the majority at least. I know that we have very, very spiritually advanced people here, but over there, their frequency is different. We're moving towards that. We're moving up. We're climbing a ladder, okay? And it's because of a frequency change. And as we climb this ladder, we're going to have that new technology, just like the technology that we were told they have over there in the lands beyond. There's going to be new technology. Now, we can either roll with it, you guys, or we can push against it. And intention, right? So we're far more powerful than you realize, than any of us realize. And do we really want to be projecting and creating a world that we do not want or do not choose because our minds can't get out of the gutter? Or do we want to be excited and know that we're moving in a good direction and be involved enough to help make these things happen and lift our vibration so that we're standing in our power and we do become the masters of our world? I mean, when you reach the level of magician and mastery, you are manifesting at an amazing rate. And that's where we're going. Here on this earth plane, in this section of the earth that has been so 3D, we are shifting. That's the trajectory that we're on. So right now, because of the energy that is come in, that's shifting things, that's waking people up, that's creating people to want to change and move in a better direction, we have judgment. Again, we've got judgment. It's like wake-up calls, okay? Coming in, judgment comes in. This is a major arcana. It starts the story after the new that we're moving towards, right? So judgment comes in as frequency from above, comes in, blows its horn. People get poked awake, just like in this Four of Swords, right? They climb up out of their coffins, just like with this. They come with their dead little hands and their barely any life in them sticks and say, all right, how are we going to make these changes? So this is what's happening with judgment. People are waking up. It's almost overwhelming because the vibration from this horn is so different than what they're accustomed to. It's that love vibration being blown, right? And so they're coming up out of their coffins. And, we're going through a period of judgment. Honestly, these frequencies, when we're okay, so the judgment is going to come mostly via ourselves, because you can't live in a love vibration. You cannot become spiritually connected truly in a true way. I know people that spiritually bypass, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about really truly becoming more authentic and heart-centered, like what we learned about yesterday with the people over there in the lands beyond. You cannot shift your vibration and truly reach your full potential until you judge yourself. And I don't mean the way that people have done it here up until now, where, they've got poor self-esteem and they think they're stupid and they think they can't succeed and blah, blah, blah. No, not that type of judgment. The type of judgment where we get real damn honest with ourselves and we do our shadow work And we know that we have not always been perfect, and we are open and we admit that we have done some shitty things. And then we seek why we did them. And we trace it back to whatever trauma or trigger or training or programming we received that showed us that this behavior somehow worked for us. And we dissect it and we do some serious analyzing and work to stop those triggers so that we don't keep acting out from an emotional trigger and doing stupid things or shitty things. We take accountability for our own actions. We seriously work to change the way that we are within the world and get rid of those old ideologies, old habits, old ways of being. We tame that ego. We take accountability for the shit that we've done. We make positive change so that if we are triggered, our brain doesn't automatically say act out and we say yeah before we even realize it. We go, oh, wait a minute, we're being triggered right now. I have a choice. I could act this way, as I have in the past, or I can breathe through it. I can choose to be a different way. I do not have to be that person. That person and those actions and that acting out is not who I am authentically. That's my ego telling me this works for me because of programming, training, all of those things. So we gotta start shifting our own gears with that judgment, doing that shadow work, and it's our responsibility. It's our duty that once we realize that we're emotionally triggered in X, Y, or Z, it's then our accountability to work on not allowing those triggers to let us act out, right? And heal ourselves a bit. But we're in a place right now where judgment is reigning. To bring in a more balanced way of being with that 20, that's 2 plus 0, so that's amplified, right? So it's waking us up. It's shifting us with a vibrational change. 2 vibrational changes here. And we are not, it's time for us to judge ourselves more so than others. Don't get caught up in judging others. I think I said that yesterday. When we're putting all of our energy into looking inside somebody else's closet, we haven't yet cleaned out our own, that's bullshit. And anytime we want to open up somebody else's closet, nose through it, and judge them, that means that even if we've cleaned out our own closet, it's time to open up our own closet again and go through it again, right? So really judging ourselves, working on ourselves, lifting our vibration. But know that we're not only going through this personally, that from a higher place, okay, from beings with higher frequencies, with the heavens and spirit, we literally are going through a period of judgment. Like, they're saying, okay, you guys, wake up. You've lived like this long enough. Wake up. We're giving the energies. We're doing the things to create the shift. It's time for you guys to step out of this 3D way of being and step up. And so that's what's happening. We're going through major change. Major. Now, across from the judgment coming in, waking the really, really dead people up out of their slumber and out of their caskets. And then for those that are kind of connected but ignoring it and choosing to bury it, poking them into gear, we are, the whole deck of cards is coming down with that tower. So everything that we've built our society on right now is going to be dismantled. Everything, you guys, with this tower card. Everything's going to be dismantled because it's old. It's an old way of being. It's not working. So it's being dismantled with this tower card from a place of a higher perspective. It's being dismantled from above. The foundation isn't crumbling, right? it's being broken down from above. That's because this is so 3D. And we're coming into a higher way of being. We're poked into going higher. And so all of these old 3D ways of doing things will crumble. And that means our technology is going to change. So everything that we are doing technologically wise, that's going to change and it's going to crumble. We're going to have more technology, higher powered technology, new ways of doing things, but it is going to be from a place of a higher perspective, not of a 3D power dynamic, but of a place of something of a higher frequency, you guys. So that's what I'm getting, okay? Now, above the judgment and all of this shift that we're going through, we've got that love coming in again. So love is driving the judgment. And then we're coming back up to the Lover's card, love again. So it's understandable that people are waking up for the first time and they're getting hyper-focused on some shit that maybe they haven't heard of, didn't know about, that sounds scary because there's a lot of propaganda out there. And they're hyper-focusing in it and they're getting all caught up. It's going to bite us. It's going to bite us to hyper-focus only on these with this, it's like the pleasures of the earth, right? So this is a physical pleasure. He's so caught up in this physical pleasure of this chick that he's not paying attention to the truth of his environment, okay? And he's being guided by divine love, and the moon is whispering to him in his intuitive ear, but he's too caught up in what's going on the earth plane, and he's getting bitten, okay? So when we get too caught up in the one thing and we don't step back to view it all and try to use our logic and listen to our intuition with that moon and pull in that love vibration from that higher place, we will get bitten. It's poison. It's poison to always be focused on either negative things or only the earthly pleasures. There's so much more to us than instant gratification or those instant rushes that we get through the fear porn or the hopium. And it's poisonous for us to do that, for us to hyper-focus on these things. What's good for us is to lift ourselves like they're showing us. Keep lifting ourselves up. Stand back from this focus of whatever it is that they're trying to get you to hyper-fixate on it now. Step back from that and listen to your intuition and pull in the love vibration. Lift yourself above it so that you're not poisoned by all this stuff. Because it's poisonous. It will bite us. And it will poison us. And that will ruin everything, right? So discernment, discernment, discernment. Observe, don't absorb. Think of ways that you can lift your vibration. Keep doing your work. How can you get out and make a difference? We're going to someplace nice. But we're going through a lot to get there. And these systems are going to crumble. All of them. All of the things that we've built as foundational whatever in this world up until this point, I imagine our churches will crumble. Our banking system will crumble. The way we do things in the workplace, old ways, they're going to crumble. We're going someplace much higher than where we're at. So we're seeing the wake up. We're seeing the crumbling of the old, and we're seeing how people are getting so fixated that it's poisonous to them, caught up in all that fear and stuff. And where we're actually going is someplace really nice. The reason why this tower has to actually crumble is because it really doesn't work. It's too dense. It's too 3D. It's really not built to work for everybody. We have that two of Pentacles straight above that tower. And though it looks good, she looks good, right? She looks good. She's trying to balance her life. She looks as though she's got her shit together. If you take a closer look, she really doesn't. She's imbalanced. She doesn't honestly have enough of the money to take care of the earthly pleasures that she needs for survival. We're talking survival with his bare feet and you know what I'm saying? So there's the way the way that our foundation has been working may look good, it may look solid, but it actually just doesn't work for people. It keeps people in a constant state of not enough. And we're going to a place of mastery. And we're going to a place of a love vibration and an intuition where we're not so focused on pleasures of the flesh, because that's poisonous. We're moving into a place of a higher frequency, a much higher frequency. Does that make sense, you guys? So this is where we're going. This is the true trajectory of humanity. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm excited to see. I hope I live long enough to really see humans at a place where it's not so much about things or pleasure. Like, you know, just think of it. Like it's all quick fixes today. It's who can I screw? How many notches in my bedpost? It's an amazing consumption of pornography. And it's not just by men, it's women too. It's now sex, not making love. People don't have true connection, magical connections. Everybody's warped sexually. The pleasures of the flesh, right? It's drug addictions, it's alcoholism, it's all of these pleasures of the flesh. It's how much money can I have? How many toys can I have? Oh, I've got this Gucci bag and that makes me the shit. No, not really. Not really. It makes you silly for spending that much on a friggin' Gucci bag because you think that makes you something more than what you are. So we're all about, like, this society is kind of gross. I'll be honest, I get really grossed out by where we're at, where we've moved to. I mean, I grew up at a time where things were a little less than this. I mean, girls weren't dressing up looking like they're prostitutes because they thought all their worth is whether or not a million guys want to screw them. I mean, it's horrible where we've gotten to. So we're shifting out of that, you guys, and it's good that we are. I'm glad that we are. I'm glad that we are. I get grossed out by the way people behave today. I really do. I just think to myself, what's wrong with, how did we get here? I'm not that old. I realize I'm not that young, but boy, have I seen some changes in my lifetime about behaviors. And it's gotten really bad. Not that there wasn't, ugly things when I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s. Of course there were. People were addicted to drugs. People were alcoholics. People went to peep shows and cheated on their spouses and all sorts of things were happening. But it's like we took all of this icky stuff and we've amplified it times 1,000. It's just nasty. It's nasty. When I was growing up, there was a bra commercial. A woman came out there, and there's a bra on a bust, and a woman came out with her little pointer, and she showed you all of the wonderful qualities to this bra and why it would work for you and be comfortable. And now it's women coming out in their bras and underwear Everything's about sex, right? You can't go into a city where you don't see people bent over in a stupor because they've taken this shit called trank. Homeless people, needles everywhere, everything. It's just horrible. So I'm glad to see that we're moving this way and that every foundation that we've built so far is going to crumble and be redone because we're going to a better place vibrationally where it's not so focused on the pleasures of the flesh because that has poisoned us as a society. And it truly has. And I sound like I'm preaching. I'm not. I am, I guess. I just get really passionate about it because I see the darkness everywhere in the way that we've become and how it's being promoted and encouraged and coddled, and just how that darkness that we saw in that reading yesterday that sat atop of us, which makes us unsafe to be allowed to even go. They don't want us anywhere near them because we're all being influenced by the darkness. Well, now that love vibration has come in, the heavens are saying that you guys can't be influenced by this anymore. You're going to wake up. We're going to crumble these foundations. You've been being poisoned. You know, you've been in a constant state of lack and struggle. You've been poisoned. We're going to bring you to a higher place, a place of a great awakening, a more spiritually and vibrationally higher place to be. Technology is going to shift for the better. You're going to learn eventually to become the masterful, beautiful, amazing creatures that you are. And we're going through the major shift of it now. So, you know, you got to be discerning, you guys, because as this change is happening to us, people are really getting their rocks off of scaring us. And it makes them money. It makes them, the bigger the channel is, the more likes they get, the more shares they get, the more comments they get, the more engagement they get, the more money they will make. And the human brain gets a rush like a drug from endorphins every time it gets scared or upset, right? So fear porn is a great thing to sell because that's going to get people coming back because your brain doesn't care if it's getting that hit of endorphins via something that's absolutely scaring the crap out of you, or if it's some nasty drug, or, you know, whatever it is, the brain doesn't care. It just knows it wants more. And the brain doesn't care if you're getting that rush because you've just gotten a rush from a hopium telling you that tomorrow's the date that you're going to wake up and you're going to have $10 million in your bank account. Your brain doesn't care if it's bullshit and lies. All it wants is more of that rush. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Don't think that my brain's any different than anyone else's, right? It's not. We're wired a particular way. I turn away from that shit. I have trained my brain not to get anything off of that. I observe it and I shake my head and I make my decrees. My brain has been retrained to enjoy my spiritual work, my energy work that I do, my meditation. I've trained my brain to get those types of endorphins from being with my animals and playing in the garden and watching nature. And I get these things now from a place that bring me peace rather than chaos and poison me. And it looks like we're all going to just continue to grow in that way. And that's good. That's good. that's exciting for me, right? So, having given us this information, thank you so much. This is our trajectory. And that's good. We're going to good places. Is there any last words that you would like to leave us with in regards to walking in fear all the time, getting upset and walking in fear? Or, because it said, at the end of this reading, the drive is that we don't like something, we then band together and we start getting out and we start creating that change. Not so much that we sit on the couch fretting, scared, and creating energetic tulpas with our imagination and our mind and creating this world that we don't want. We're going to be creating good things, right? So with one card, is there anything that you would like to leave us with in regards to advice or clarity when it comes to walking with fear and just taking in all of this scary stuff rather than taking the information and maybe doing something with it so that you can be part of a change, or saying, no, you don't consent to that, or listening to your highest self and your intuition so that you can see if what's being said to you is actually a truth or if it's designed to keep you low and scared and in fear. So is there anything that you want to say to us with one card, please and thank you? One card. And we can keep these messages in mind and in our heart. And if we see people that are struggling, we can use our place of logic, whatever, to help them if they're ready and willing and able to handle hearing things from a place of a higher perspective. Share what you can with them. We'll just keep sending love and healing out, right? That's something that we can do. Makes us feel good. Costs us nothing. Can't hurt, may help, right? So we're going through great change. And discernment is really key in opening that crown, right? Learning to discern. So one card, anything you want to say to us, please and thank you. Yeah, we got the Judgment again. So that's a higher arcana card, and we're talking about fear, right? So what do they want us to keep in mind when we're talking about walking in fear? That is a low vibration, you guys. So let me get another sip of my coffee. So they're telling us the constant state of fear is actually part of what keeps us dead and in our coffins, right? That's part of the problem. Everything here on this earth plane has been about fear. Fear of not being able to pay our bills, fear of not having enough food, enough heat, fear of not having a vehicle to get back and forth to work, fear of not having a job. So these are just basic things that we all need. We need heat, we need food, we need clothing, we need money, we need a vehicle, we need a roof over our head to be able to live safe and secure. And the fear is always not being able to maintain it or not having enough to get everything that we need in order to live a safe and secure life, right? So that fear then has been compounded by constant wars being created and the constant fear that your child, your loved one, may have to go off to war and die, that the war may come to your land, your country, in your backyard. So there's a lot of fear that builds from there. So that's more things to fear. As they've moved us out of the nuclear family, now you've got to worry about if you're not pretty enough or don't look good enough, and your husband gets bored because sex is so sold today that he's going to cheat on you or leave you for a younger man, younger woman, or man in today's day and age, or vice versa. You know, the husband worries that the woman is going to start coveting another man and leave him. So there's all of this, and then you got to worry about your kids getting involved in drugs or alcohol. You might worry where the money is going. Is your husband or your wife gambling your money away? Are they buying drugs behind your back? There's a lot of things to worry about and fear in this world. And I could go on and on and on, right? And that constant state of that is what keeps us kind of dead. It lowers the vibration and it stops us from being able to connect really. And so that's what we need to move out of, right? So the fear comes in. Fear is meant to make us take notice and move, possibly, or create a plan. I'm walking down the street, gonna turn this corner, but oh, the street lights are out and it's very dark. I get a hit of fear. Maybe I shouldn't go down there. Guess I'm not gonna go down that road tonight. I'm gonna avoid that road. Or I hear a bump in the night. I have a moment of fear. What the hell was that? That's an unusual noise. Now let me step back, go get my gun, get my flashlight, go investigate. With logic, right? Not panic. You know, fear is meant to be a motivator and not something that we stay stuck in. And we've all been in this world being fed fear and propaganda, creating a struggling life for all of us so that we're all in sort of that fight or flight mode. And that keeps us low vibrational. So the advice is, you know, when we walk with fear or we're constantly looking at fearful things, that keeps us low. And the heavens are wanting us to be more balanced, more logical. Use these things as they were meant. Don't live in it, right? So that's our advice, to go higher. When we start finding ourselves focused too much into fear mode, fear porn, walking with fear, being afraid, getting upset, step back, breathe our way through it, calm ourselves down. One great way to do that is to spiritually ground. Start the spiritual grounding to center the self, and then start looking at things logically. Open up your intuition. Use that intuition to then guide you. Whatever it takes to kind of move yourself to a place of logic, so that then you can take whatever's created the fear within us and we can move in a way that's actually conducive rather than staying stuck in fear. So that's what I'm getting, you guys. I hope that made sense. I hope that you found a little bit of value in this. Know that I love you all. And again, thank you all for your love, support, prayers for myself, my sister, my nephew, my family. I appreciate it. And you're all a blessing, and I love you all. And I hope that you have a fabulous Friday. And keep pulling your vibes up. And anything that you found in this message of value that you can share in days to come, or weeks to come, or years to come even, as people might come into your path that seem to be very, very afraid. You know, share your spiritual tools, share your knowledge, share the way that you're able to walk through this crazy ass world, not being just consumed by or stuck in fear. Share your tools, because honestly, people have not been taught how to maneuver all of the fear porn and the shit that they've had dumped on them. And a lot of people believe exactly what they're seeing on the news or the back channels or whatever. And we have to step into our own intuition, our own discernment, and understand that there are a lot of people making a lot of money to keep us, you know, in a loop. And they don't have our best interest at heart. And they are filling us full of shit. And the best way for us to know anything, honestly, is to go higher. The higher we go with our own vibration and our own spiritual awakening and learning how to use our psychic gifts and becoming that being that we actually are, these true magical beings, that's where we're going to get our best information and know how to move in the best way for us in our lives on our own personal path. So share. Because we're going through a time where all this shit is crumbling and people are shifting and vibrations are changing, and not everybody has learned discernment, and a lot of people stay in fear. So share your tools, share your skills, share your vibration like we have been, right? Sending that out into the world to help with this shift. It's a pretty amazing time we're going through. Okay, you guys, I love you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soonish. It's Friday, so I probably won't see you over the weekend. You know how it is. The weekend's really dedicated for family and getting my shit done that we're falling behind on because of things that have taken precedence. So still don't have the rot fixed on the side of the house. This weekend we're hoping to finish up with that. So yeah, you probably won't see me till Monday, but have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend, and stay vibing high, stay in the love vibration, and I will see you all soonish. Okay, bye.